It's my pleasure to introduce Scott Stratton, our first speaker of the day and the president of Unmarketing. Scott is an expert in viral, social, and authentic marketing, something that he calls unmarketing. It's all about positioning yourself as a trusted advisor, a trusted expert in front of your target market, your audience, whatever that may be. So when they have the need for what your organization offers, you'll be their first choice. Scott has been a music industry marketer, a national sales training manager, and a professor at the Sheridan School of Business. He ran his Unagency for nearly a decade before solely focusing on speaking at events for companies and helping guide them when they have needs in the social media and relationship marketing landscape. With over 120,000 people following his daily rants on Twitter, and that's a fair amount more than I have, so maybe I should start ranting. Maybe that's the secret. He was just named one of the top 5 social media influencers in the world by Forbes.com. As he is often controversial and always pushes the envelope, his Twitter account is a must follow. I know I often have enjoyed a laugh or two from his tweets, but it also many of them made me stop and think. His book, Unmarketing, Stop Marketing, Start Engaging, became a national bestseller before it was even released, which I think that's in itself a pretty good trick. It was also named one of the top business books of the year by 1-800-CEO Read and one of the top 10 books for under30ceo.com. Scott recently published his second book, The Book of Business Awesome. As we'll experience, his passion comes out most when he's speaking on the stage, preaching engagement, and the new paradigm of marketing. Please join me in welcoming Scott Stratton to the stage.
Hello. Hello. I'm Canadian. You can't go past me. You're Canadian too, so you'll have to be polite with me and nice and passive. Most events I speak at, I'm the biggest deal on Twitter at the events, until this one. Thanks a lot, Biz Stone. Appreciate that. Invented the frickin' thing, so that's great. So I'm nothing. I used to be the biggest deal on Twitter in Canada, and then Justin Bieber came along and screwed that up. So thanks to Biz Stone and Justin Bieber. You can tweet that, by the way. My name is Unmarketing on Twitter. If you ever want to tweet, my entire self-esteem is based on that. So please share. I speak in tweets. It's mostly my ADD flaring up. So if I say something I think is tweetable, I'll just pause and I'll wink. And then you just tweet it and we'll get it all viral. That's how it's going to go. So that's my favorite kid on the internet here. Anyone can be cool, but awesome takes practice. My whole world about unmarketing and marketing in general and viral marketing, why we share things is because it's awesome, and awesomely amazing, awesomely horrible. Whatever it is, it's an epic level of reaction we have emotionally to something we experience or we see. I want to give you an example of that, of my world is called unmarketing and how marketing really, the best type of marketing is not what we do on purpose sometimes. Here's an example of the Ritz-Carlton and Joshi. Now Joshi, as you can see, is well, you can't really tell, but he's a giraffe. He's a very flat giraffe, not stuffed very properly. But a dad took his family away to the Ritz-Carlton for a vacation, for a holiday, and they forgot, his son, who's 5, forgot Joshi at the hotel. Who here has kids? Do your kids have a blankie or a toy or something? What happens if they leave it somewhere? It's like if you left your phone somewhere, right? The world is over when they leave this thing there. So the dad did what most parents do. The dad lied to the kid and said, Joshi's on an extended vacation at the Ritz-Carlton, so he hasn't come back yet, but he's going to come back soon. And then he phoned the Ritz-Carlton and said, please find Joshi and then help me lie to my son. And so they found it. Somebody in the laundry room found it wrapped up in the sheets and looked at it and said, some kid is missing this. Now that reaction alone is worthwhile enough. And so when they sent Joshi back, what would happen if you left something at a hotel right now and asked them to mail it back? They'd ask you for your credit card, for you to pay for the shipping back, and it would come to you in 6 to 8 weeks. Well, not only did they courier Joshi back to the kid for free within the next day, they also sent along some pictures to perpetuate the vacation that Joshi was taking. Joshi catching a few rays by the pool Joshy meeting new friends at the bar. That dolphin is getting very close to being inappropriate. Right? They went around the entire resort taking pictures. Joshy getting in a few rounds of golf at the resort. Now, Joshy, since he was staying there and had no money because he has no pockets to hold any credit cards, they decided he had to work for his stay. So this is him working in loss prevention. And of course, if he's working for the Ritz-Carlton, he needs a Ritz name tag. They sent all this back with Joshy, including the name tag and the photos. What is your reaction to this? It's awesome, right? And what do you do if you read this? You share it, right? What did his father do? Other than change his pants, what did he do? He told the world, right? He blogged it, Facebook, tweeted, text, emailed, and tells it at every dinner party, everywhere he goes. And every hotel for the rest of his life have to live up to this. That is marketing. That is branding. Now, here's the issue. This is the logo. It's pretty, isn't it? It's nice and fancy. Anybody here ever been on a logo committee, designing one or putting one together? Like we put a rusty nail through your eye, right? Like how much? 18 weeks, 27 people debating over the hue of blue or something you're going to use. Do you know how many people's lives were wasted figuring out which way this lion's going to face? To the left or to the right? And there was a right camp and a left camp, and they battled it out for a while. You know what Ritz-Carlton is to me? It's this. The Ritz-Carlton is Joshy to me, and that's when I say logos don't matter very much once we've gotten into your business. You need your brand identity. You need to look good. You need to look proper, and all these fancy places will make them for you. But here's the thing. Once I've experienced said brand, that experience is the brand. So when I see Ritz-Carlton, I think of this experience. So if you spend a lot of your time and energy and effort on your branding part of things and not a lot on your hiring part of things, we're in trouble. The best marketing you can possibly do, and I'm a marketing guy, the best marketing you can possibly do is to hire properly. If you hire great people, it will help your brand. It's a very easy equation, but HR and marketing operate in separate silos. My background, my corporate background is actually HR. I was in HR until I realized I hated people, but I was in HR for a long time. And this is what I learned. If I could go back, I hired for retail. If I could go back, I would change one thing. I would not hire for experience necessarily. I would hire for passion. I would hire for personality. I would hire for them being awesome. And that's the difference, because the brand is that to me versus some kind of forced logo. Nobody ever stayed at a hotel. Nobody ever stayed at the Ritz-Carlton and said the bed was terrible, the room service was overpriced, and the check-in person was a jerk. But did you see the logo? It's exquisite. It has really strong lines and lions, and it's facing left. Martha, we're staying there next week. I never went to a restaurant and said, you know what, the lasagna was cold and overpriced and horrible, but did you see the brochure? It's a tri-fold, 4-color process brochure, and it's glossy. We're going to stay there next time. The brand is what the consumer thinks your brand is. You don't dictate it. We, as marketers, we can try to influence it, but we don't say what it is. We have brand statements and fancy frames on the wall. It doesn't mean anything. You want to know what your mission statement is or your brand is? Ask your customer. They will tell you, and it will not be what you have on your wall. It'll be have what they think. Marketing is not a task. Marketing is not my job or your job or anybody's job. Marketing is a verb. It's what we're doing all the time. It's actions. Marketing isn't a campaign. It's every day. It's all the time. It's organic. It's moving, and it's changing daily, depending on those interactions a lot of the time, too. As an example, anybody ever been to Lush before? Hands up. Lush? It's a soap store. Yes. As you can tell, I don't go. But I did an undercover operation at a mall. I'm from just west of Toronto, in Mississauga, called Square One. And I went there, and I went to 21, 22 stores on a Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon, to see how I'd be treated. Have you ever worked retail in your life? You know what Tuesday or early afternoon is like? Right? Nobody's there. It's dead, right? You walk into the store, and people working at the store feel like you're interrupting them. Right? You walk in, they're like, what? Can I what do you want? I'm in the middle. If it wasn't for these customers, I'd get so much more done, you know, that attitude. So I walked into 22 stores, and nobody cared. And then I walked into Lush. And sweet, fancy Moses. I walked in there, the girl at the register looks at me and just goes, hi! Hello? She's like, first time here? I'm like, yeah. I'm getting scared now. She's like, let me give you a tour. And she gives me a tour of this store like it's the White House. The store is 8 square feet, by the way. She's walking around like it's this palatial estate. And she's like, here's the bath bombs. There's the soap by the pound. You cut this by the soap, and you do this, that. And you take a bath? I'm like, I don't take baths, actually. She's like, well, here's some more soap. I walked out with $79 worth of soap. I don't bathe. $79 worth of soap. I got home. My girlfriend said, what happened? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to go take a bath. And I walked out of there. And that's the difference. There's 2 types of customers in the world. There's static and ecstatic ones. You want to improve your bottom line, improve the front line. You want to make campaigns go better, improve the person answering the email, the phone, at the door, at the cash register. There is ROI in being awesome. I am told, that's what the new book has, awesome in the title. People are like, well, business people won't take that seriously, Scott. Serious business is not about awesome, it's about ROI. And I'm like, shut the, I don't say that. Yeah, I'm like, seriously, awesome is about more revenue. There's ROI in it. I live in hotels and airplanes. I live a very sad life. But I've been hundreds of hotels, hundreds in the past few years. And I call for wake-up calls because if I miss the speaking gig, it's not good. So I phone them, and every time you guys phone a wake-up call, what happens? Hello. When you phone a wake-up call, what happens? Right? It's usually automated. You know, press 7, 3, and then press 1 for AM or 9 for PM. And I phoned, and I called, she's like, good evening, Mr. Stratton. Would you like a wake-up call? Oh, I was expecting an automated thing. Have you ever called somebody and want to leave a voicemail and they answer? It's really awkward for a second. So I'm like, yeah, can I get a wake-up call for 7:30? She's like, sure, that's kind of early, Mr. Stratton. Would you like a pot of coffee brought at the same time? But it is quite early, yes. I would like a pot of coffee. She's like, great, and have a good night. I hope you have a good sleep. I'm like, what? Thank you. Like, she likes me. She really cares about me. And I woke up the next morning, and I had no problem paying $78 for that pot of coffee from Moon Service. I had no problem. Why? Because she was awesome. You know what the ROI of awesome is? $78 worth of coffee. That's what the ROI is. She just paid her entire shift's pay in one phone call. 47 seconds long. You do the math, because I can't. But that's a positive ROI. Every hotel before and since then has not done this, and they've missed out on the money. Can awesome have ROI? You bet your ass it can. When you love what you do, it is contagious. And when you get knowledge and passion, you will sell more things on the spot, in places you never thought you would, and that's the difference. But the problem is sometimes we also go too far on the other side of things. I speak a lot about tech and media and social media wherever I go. And sometimes we go too far on the other side of things. This is a QR code. We all know, anybody know QR codes, right? We scan it. If you don't know, we scan it with your smartphone with an app, and it takes you to a web page, usually, depending on the QR code. This is a QR code made of cookies. This is Oreo cookies. Don't scan it. Focus here, right here. Okay? We're good? All right. So, and it works. The problem with QR codes is we're already breaking QR codes, and they just were invented. We already suck extremely hard at QR codes, and we just came out with technology. I have seen QR codes on the side of the highway on billboards. What do you want? What do you want me to do while I'm driving? I have seen them in places where they make no sense. Look at this. This is over the CNE Fairgrounds in Toronto. What do you want me to do? I'm going to run after the plane? They're like, I can just see the board meeting with this, right? Jeff, we're gonna do a QR code pulled by an airplane. That is genius. What's the scanning do? Oh, it doesn't work. Nobody can scan it anyways. It's going to look cool. Well, let's do this. Nobody knows. No other markings. We have no idea what company this was at all. But we're doing it because we can. I have seen QR codes in subway tunnels. I have no signal in a subway tunnel. There was a campaign last year with the TTC in Toronto that won an advertising award for their QR code subway campaign. It didn't work. It did not function. You could not scan it to make it successful, and they won an award. This is why I have ulcers. Okay? Flying here, I just flew in from Halifax. Flying here, on the plane, they had magazines, airplane magazines, with QR codes in the advertisements. I'm in a plane. I can't scan it. I had somebody in the industry say, well, Scott, people can take the magazines home with them. I'm like, really? Only very lonely people take airplane magazines home. If shut-ins are your demographic, then go for it. But other than that, it's not going to work. That's the problem. I have seen QR codes sent to me in emails. Ready? Okay, focus. Just stop eating for 1 second. Focus. Ready? I get QR codes in emails. Some already see the problem, yes? The camera that scans the QR code is on the back of the phone. Unless I'm some sort of Jedi, I can't scan your code. If you're thinking we should send a QR code in an email, send it with something called a link. That's what it is. It's a link. My bank, I won't tell you which bank, it's TD, they said, download our new app. So I downloaded it on my iPad, and I clicked it, and you know what it did? It brought me to their website. If your app takes me to a page on your site, it's not called an app. It's called a link. You just paid an agency $85,000 to create a URL for you. Please be careful, and please watch it, and please stop. I just saw a month ago a QR code on a banana. On a banana. You know that little oval circle we've got? That's all the real estate we've got on the Chiquita banana. And it said a QR code, and all it said was, scan for smoothie recipe. My girlfriend looks at it and goes, I like smoothies. I'm like, giddy up, look at it working, all in unison. And I scan the banana with my phone, and it comes up with a video, and it says, sorry, not playable on a mobile device. The only thing that is scanning a QR code is a mobile device, any tablet, anything else. Nobody is grabbing their PC and holding it over the banana with a webcam. Think. Think before you do. For the love of Pete, I'm going to lose my mind. Think before you do this, okay? This is a QR code on the back of the bus in Atlanta that I saw when I was just down there. It says, scan here to view the ER wait times and hold your place in the emergency room because you just rear-ended a bus. Why are you doing this? I had a guy look at this and go, in Atlanta, in an agency, go, well, it's not for people who are driving, Scott. It's people maybe who are walking. Who's walking behind a bus? You have bigger problems in the ER if you're walking behind a bus scanning things, okay? Stop it. Stop it. We are hurting it. We're crying QR code wolf to me, which is every time somebody scans a QR code and it doesn't work, I am less likely to scan another one. Make sense? Speaking of internet and websites, and being at Sierra here, that if URLs work the same QR codes work now, we would not have the internet. It would not work. It would not happen. If 80% of URLs didn't work, nobody would use the internet. But every time I scan a QR code, more often than not, they don't even lead to mobile-friendly pages. Every time I scan a QR code and it goes to a non-mobile-friendly site, a kitten dies. That's your fault. That's all on us now. We have to change these things because that's the problem. This is what's happening. And jumping over to social itself, a world that's close to my heart because I do live on Twitter, social media success doesn't even exist. Social media doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't make anything better. Okay, it only amplifies what you currently are. It only makes your brand the same but louder. It only makes it, there's no difference to it, okay? If your product or service sucks, it just sucks harder in social media. It doesn't make it any better, okay? It doesn't make it work. But I also believe there's a few reasons. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to use it. If you're not on it in this room right now and you're resisting it, it's okay. Don't use it. I'm not being saucy. I'm not being flippant. You don't have to use it. Your business will still exist. There's actually a few good reasons why you should use it. Not use it. If you have no time, don't use it. If you only have like 2 minutes a week to use Twitter, don't use it. It's like walking into a networking event saying, how's it going? I gotta go, and walking out the door. It makes no sense to use it if you have no time. Don't use it, okay? Don't set up a Facebook page for your company and then not only look at it once a month. It's dangerous. It's called dormancy, and it's not a smart thing to do in social media because people will see your name and they'll think you're there and they'll ask you questions and they'll do things and you're not there to answer them. It's like setting up a phone line and having nobody answering it. Not smart. If you have a dormant Twitter account, delete it. your dormant Facebook page, take it away. You don't have to have all these things. You got people like me telling you have to, but you don't. You don't really have to have all these things. Another reason why you don't want to be on social media is if you hate people. It works. It exists. I know people in business who hate people. Then don't use it. There's lots of them there. Okay, so don't go around. But here's the difference. I'll give you an example very quick. This is the bar chart here. When I joined Twitter in April 2008, the difference was, don't look at the bars yet, though. Look at me. Right, okay, I'll just do that. I can, right here, I can do that. It's up to you. But the whole thing about Twitter is I joined in April 2008, okay? And my first reaction to Twitter was, this is stupid. Right? I didn't get it. People are talking about what they had for lunch. I don't care. And I dabbled on Twitter for 8 months, okay? And I got about 1,200 followers over 8 months. And then in January 1st, 2009, I decided to live on Twitter for 30 days. And I tweeted almost 7,000 times. That big red bar on the left is my January 2009. That's the number of tweets. You can get your own tweet stats, by the way. Just go to tweetstats.com, and it'll give you a report like this free. That's when I realized what Twitter was about. I went from 1,200 followers to 10,000 followers. I now have over 135,000 followers. I've tweeted over 90,000 times. Those numbers mean nothing. Nothing. Don't aim for that, please. I have no life. Don't aim for that at all. Aim for this. This is the only number I want you to take away today. This number here. 75% of my tweets are replies. Okay? Twitter's a conversation, not a dictation. Okay, that's the difference. I have replied over 62,000 times to people on Twitter. You want the secret to social? You want the secret to how these things work? That is your secret. I talk to people. I talk with people. I don't talk at them. That's the difference. You want social to work? Be social. It's not hard. I wish we called social media what it actually is, which is talking. That's all it is. It's all it is, people being social together. There is no trick. There is no magic. That's the difference for people, okay? It's in real time. We talk in real time. At least listen in real time. That's the biggest effort to businesses and brands for me, because you have time to jump in and catch things, whether it's a sports debate where you want to jump in, a musical debate, or a business issue. You can jump in. There's no such thing as interrupting on Twitter, and you can have it. There is ROI to being great at social media. Just like I said, there's ROI to being awesome and the woman who answered the phone at the hotel. Here's an example. I tweeted this out. If anyone has a contact at Kudu Mobile, please message me. My little brother has nothing but problems and no resolution. My family only talks to me when they want me to tweet something. Scott, can you go on the tweezer and tell them that my phone is not good? Right? My older brother, can you check Twanker for this? I want to free this. Okay. So I tweet this out, expecting Kudu to get back to me. This is over a year ago. Okay, this is December last year, and Kudu still has not written me back. But 4 minutes after tweeting this, Virgin Mobile says, your little bro should switch to Virgin Mobile. Just saying. How great is that? And you know what the result was? He's now with Virgin Mobile. And I've gotten 5 plans for them since then. Probably worth upwards of $4,000 per year, what they've gotten from me and my family, my referrals, because of this. Twitter doesn't have an ROI. It does if you're good. It does if you have personality. But here's the thing. These opportunities pop up every day for brands. And it's the person. It's not Virgin being awesome to me. It's Tal, who is the girl who ran this account and who responded to me. She's the great one. She's got the right mindset for it, right? Social media is about having good people doing social for you, not just being social. It doesn't make any sense. Because I can have a same type of issue, like my friend Jessica here, got a huge following, big mouth, likes to tell everybody everything in the world. She's awesome. She spreads things like wildfire, and she says, note that even if T-Mobile service doesn't work for you after you purchase it, they will not waive the early termination fee, and she copies in T-Mobile help. She's crying out, right? She's saying, come on. Right, she wants to cancel it, but if you all had a cell phone, you want to cancel it early, is termination. Her phone never worked in the first place, right? So she's angry, right? And Twitter, we go to vent. That's what we do. It's the great level playing field for consumers, right? Where we can say something and people can hear it. And T-Mobile now has an opportunity in front of everybody, because the greatest thing about social media and the scariest thing is it's publicized customer service. So everybody's watching what happens. And they respond with, we're sorry it didn't work out for you, not to sound rude, but after the buyer's remorse, then you're under contract. I saw this happen in real time. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get their ass kicked. If you're ever about to start a tweet and say, not to sound rude, no offense, or nothing personal, rethink the tweet. Delete the tweet. And of course, you know what happened here? She lost her mind on it. She did a blog post on it. I saw it. I'm like, I'll share that too. And I shared it to everybody, and it spreads because we're sick and tired of being beaten down by companies like this. And we now have the level playing field. So there's same type of situation, two different ways of dealing with it. It's amazing what can happen. Now, I want to show you an example of why those things spread like that. For a couple years now, we've been trying to come up with a good way to explain viral, how things spread through social, through not social, through anything. And social is our biggest spreader now of content. And we finally come up with this for the new book. It's called Third Circle. Like I was said in the intro, I ran Unmarketing, my agency, for about 10 years. All we made were viral videos. I hate the term viral video. I can't stand it. Just because you call your video viral doesn't make it viral. If your video has 12 views and 8 of them are you refreshing it at your desk, it's not viral yet. So what happens is we share content, okay? So here's an example here that's you. This can be you personally. This can be you as a brand. Whatever that is, when you share something, you Facebook it, you blog it, you tweet it, you email it, whatever. Put it on TV, whatever the thing is, it goes to your first circle. Make sense? So all of your followers, your friends, your fans, your subscribers, they see this, okay? Good so far? So nice and easy, they're seeing it. And a good percentage of these people will see it. And some of those people will, no matter what, they'll like it, they'll share it, whatever the reason, even if it's not good. There's, you know, on Facebook, you ever update something and there's always like one person who will always like your status, no matter what. It's like really creepy sometimes. You're like, I just had some orange juice. And like, Jeff likes this in 3 seconds. Like, why do you like that I'm enjoying some orange juice? This is weird, right? So there's always a percentage that will like it. And when they like it or share it or retweet it or reblog it or whatever that is, their first circle sees it, which is your second circle. Now, this isn't the hard part. Getting your content to the second circle isn't too difficult. It's when the second circle shares the content, the ones who have no attachment to you, they have no brand umbilical cord, they're not an employee of yours, they're not married to you, they don't owe you money, whatever that is, they're sharing it. These guys will share it unconditionally, which will reach the third circle. And that's the difference here. When it's shared unconditionally, that's what third circle, that's when it's gone viral. And the thing is here is it doesn't really matter how many people, let's say a video, for example. If I get 1,000 views of my video, is it viral? What about 10,000 views? Is it viral? It's all subjective. If I start with a newsletter of 1 million subscribers and it gets my video 10,000 views, that's not viral. But if I have a subscriber list of 100 and it gets 1,000 views, it is viral. Viral is subjective depending on your diving board you're jumping off of. If anybody's sharing it, viral's got nothing to do with quantity. It has to do with spread and how far it goes. And that's the difference. Here's an example of what second circle versus third circle is. It's a picture of a watermelon. It's a high-res photo of a watermelon, by the way. I paid $32 for it at iStock.com. I was speaking at the Produce Association of America in Monterey, California, so I bought this. But since it was $32, I want to get a good ROI on it, so I'm going to leave it on the screen longer than I should. Okay, we're good. So, that's a watermelon, right? We're not going to share it too often. If I put a picture of a watermelon up, you're thinking something wrong with me, but I'm not going to share it. Here's an example of the watermelon, same watermelon carved into a turtle and made into a fruit bowl. You're going to share that because that's pretty cool. That's a picture from Pinterest, actually. It has 1,100 repins, 200 likes. Who here has used Pinterest before? Hands up. How awesome is it? It's so good. If you don't have Pinterest, simply it's just pictures and you pin it virtually. If you like something, you repin it on your board. Yay! It's 97% women and me. So good. So good. It's all shoes, hairdos, tattoos, motivational posters, and Ryan Gosling with no shirt. It's amazing. I love it. Right? And we share stuff. We share it not because you want us to. We share it because we like it. Here's another example. There's a dog. We have dog people in here. I got a dog myself. That's not my dog. It's another stock photo of a dog. My dog wouldn't sign the model release for it. My dog's name is Kirby. love him to death, and he's my doggy. And when I share a picture of him on Facebook, my friends would like it, but outside of people who know me, you don't give a rat's ass about my dog. Nobody cares about my dog. It's my dog. It's not yours. You don't know him, right? But if I share a picture of this dog, nobody cares. But if I share this dog picture, people share it. It's a dog getting hit in the coin purse with a tennis ball. If you don't find that funny, there's no hope for you at all. This is what brands need to do. We need to be hitting the twig and berries more as brands. Sometimes brands don't want to expose themselves that much, so you can use the same dog like that. Who's going for a car ride? Who's going for a car ride? That's the face he makes. So this is why we share it. You don't have to know my dog to share that, right? You have to know him to share that, but that's third circle. Second, third, second, third. That's the difference how it works. You got to share great stuff. That's the difference. Please don't start hitting dogs in the crotch with tennis balls because you want it to be shared, but as you can see how this stuff kind of works. Here's an example here. If you don't get the joke, have somebody at the table explain it to you. So this got through 12 levels of people to be approved in Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin. I love the people there. I think they're amazing. I love the cheese curds. I would have driven to Wisconsin just to take a picture of this logo. And then they changed it to this. I look at that, I'm like, why would they change it to that? You see what I did there with the okay, so you figured out what it means? So that's the problem, right? We just remove the awesome. I'm not going to go pose with TFW now. I'd drive 2,000 kilometers to get to WTF, though. That's the difference. Just to let it be awesome. There's no problem there. It would have been great, a great attitude, and really a definition of the Wisconsin people if they kept it there, but they didn't, and that's their loss now. Because we're upset, we get angry as consumers. We get angry at people and businesses out there. You ever feel like this? Right? That they're just laughing at you when you phone them, when you call them up, right? So we like to rebel. And like I said, Twitter levels the playing field, right? I have 140 characters. You have 140 characters. McDonald's has 140 characters. Your bank has 140. Nobody has more than anybody else, right? And I'll show you an example in a few minutes about even if you don't have a lot of followers, you can still get a lot of stuff back, get a lot of stuff out of it, because we don't. We get angry, and we're angry as consumers, and we're sharing that. We're showing that to people because we're very angry. This consumer was so angry that he or she went all caps ketchup. And then had the perseverance and time to underline in mustard. That's commitment. That is commitment, folks. I'm impressed. 1.5 million views of this photo in 24 hours. Why? Because we've all felt this way. We've all felt this way one time or another. Here's a receipt from a recent transaction in a restaurant. I'm not pregnant, but thanks for the eating for two comment. All right, gentlemen in the room, are you listening? You want to gather around here for a second? Listen very carefully. Never assume she's pregnant unless she tells you right to your face or you can see the head. Never assume she's pregnant. That was too much. Okay, that was over the line. You see what I mean? This was viewed 2 million times. Like that. While sitting at the table, she takes a picture of her bill. That's the power we've got now. That's the power of the spread. That's how quickly these things can go out there. Because we get upset. We see billboards like this, voted the #1 dentist office in Michigan with an asterisk. And the asterisk says, "By our dental staff." Stop it. Stop doing this. I saw a realtor ad for Oakville, where I live. Saw a realtor ad. #1 in Canada with an asterisk. I'm like, what? I go down, find the asterisk, which is actually like -6 font. It's like it's borderline illegal, I think, font. I almost had to get a magnifying glass. I have better than 20/20 vision. I am literally Batman. I can see for miles. I couldn't read it. I had to put it here, and it said in 2002. It's like a decade ago. It was the smallest thing, and it was sideways vertical. I'm like, you don't want to hide it anymore. You can't. Stop that. Stop this. And we wonder why we hate a lot of advertising out there is because we do unethical things like this. But here's what we sometimes do with our phones. We sometimes need something like this. I would pay 99 cents for this app, by the way. Nothing good comes out of your phone after 8 p.m. Nothing. Put them away. You Nobody ever was glad to send a midnight text to anybody ever in their life. So we got to make sure, we got to be careful how it works. Here's an example of if it hits the fan, though, what you can do and how you can react to people. Here's an example. Daniel Moore tweeted to Nenshi, Nenshi being the mayor of Calgary, Alberta, who is amazing on Twitter. He's a great social media case study if you ever want to look at him. And this guy tweets to him and says, "Hey, Nenshi, what's the point of the ridiculously expensive bridge again? What does it signify?" How do you react to this, right? And then she replies, "I think it's to be used to cross the river." All he had to add at the end was, "Just saying." And their faces look like they're actually talking in real time. I've seen this bridge too. Actually, I like the bridge. It's a nice bridge. Oh, it's too good. So you got the opportunity. So you can be funny. Humor is one way to deal with things like this, but be very careful. Okay? Sometimes what you think is funny is not funny. Okay? So we need to be very careful. You need to have truly funny people working your account if you're going to make it work, right? Off-the-cuff stuff, reactionary stuff, knee-jerk stuff, not good for a public setting, but we can still be funny. Men's Humor tweeted this out. So this morning I gave birth to a food baby, and I think Taco Bell is the father. You enjoying your lunch? Okay, good. So, and how do you react to this? Taco Bell gets hit all the time in social, all the time on Twitter. Taco Bell replies a few minutes later, "I want a DNA test." That's awesome. The DNA test tweet got shared more than the original insult. That's how you know it's awesome. I know the Taco Bell team, and they're a great team, and they have a great boss who allows them to do these things. Right? Awesome can't be restricted. Awesome is usually situational, and you have to allow your employees to do that. You have to trust them enough. If you say, "You know what, I don't trust some of my employees to use Twitter for us," that's not a social media issue. That's a hiring issue. If you don't trust somebody to represent your company, they shouldn't be at your company because they're always representing you, whether that's in person or virtually. Having my HR background, I actually taught HR at Sheridan College, employment law and HR 1 and 2, and all a bunch of things. That now I see a trend in social to have a disclaimer on the bio of your Twitter accounts. You've seen them? All tweets are my own or not reflective of the company, or whatever that is. That's the most useless statement ever. It's the most waste of characters. Right? You can't say tweets are my own and also say your employer. You are representing them 24/7 virtually when you have their name in your bio. Right? I've seen this. You can't sit there and go, "I hate Canadians," and then but all tweets are my own. It doesn't make any sense. Imagine that if somebody from CIRA put up, "I just hate Canadians." Not Representative CIRA, though. It wouldn't go over well with them. You're always a representation of the brand, especially when you disclose that brand. And that disclaimer, when you say all tweets are my own, gives you a false sense of security. Like you can say anything, when in reality, you can't. And that's the difference. In a few minutes, when we start doing questions in a little bit, we're going to give away copies of the new book right here to the first couple people who ask questions. We just came out with a new book. This came out 2 weeks ago. We're just starting the book tour now. It's called The Book of Business Awesome, How Engaging Your Customers and Employees Can Make Your Business Thrive. It's a flip book. You flip it upside down, and the second side is The Book of Business Unawesome, The Cost of Not Listening, Engaging, or Being Great at What You Do. There's a front, and you flip it upside down. It's a second book, reads both ways, 2 intros, 2 ends. Because I like talking about train wrecks, because I'm a jerk like that. So we're going to give some of them away in a couple minutes, so just get your questions ready if you want some. I'm going to give you some examples of what else is unawesome and awesome out there. When we unsubscribe from newsletters, I'm sure you've all signed up for newsletters, or if you're a customer, they've automatically put you on a newsletter. When we unsubscribe from things, it's probably the worst thing that can happen to a brand. There's list churn rates. This happens all the time. I got this message, though, when I tried to unsubscribe recently to something. You've been unsubscribed. That's my home email, so now you all have it. The email address, Stratton @ Cogeco, has been removed from our mailing address. Please allow up to 10 days for this change to take effect. 10 days? What are you doing? Is it on some one of those real big rolls of data tape or something in the back room? You don't have to come to my house and have me sign something to unsubscribe from your list. If I can sign up instantly, I should be able to be removed instantly from your list. I understand this happens because it's a Can Spam Act. You have X number of days to pull it off, but it will not take you 10 days. It should be immediately. You're not going to search databases, right? It's one code, one line, it should be gone. Don't give me the last thing to upset me as I'm leaving, okay? There's different ways you can do it. There's even better ways. If you can unsubscribe, here's an example with Groupon. If you unsubscribe from Groupon, it says, "We're sorry to see you go." How sorry? Well, we want to introduce you to Derek. He's the guy who thought you'd enjoy receiving Groupon emails. You click the button that says, "Punish Derek," and this guy's throwing coffee at Derek right now in his office. The video plays, and he can hit, or he can get smacked, or paper falls on him. His chair breaks. Derek gets beaten up because you're unsubscribing, and they're sorry. But look at the button at the very bottom. What does it say? Resubscribe. You know what I did? I resubscribed. That is awesome. That is a huge difference. Mind you, I unsubscribed again. But every day, I don't want another yoga class at discount. But I did come back, though, right? So I gave it another chance. So that's the difference. When you're signing up or leaving, we can change the reaction. Does that make sense? You can handle it. If you go to unmarketing.com and sign up for my newsletter, go ahead. If you go sign up for it, automatically you're going to get a message from me saying, thank you so much for signing up. I understand how busy an inbox can get, and I appreciate a spot in it. May I ask what line of business you're in? It helps me tailor my newsletter. I know it because I wrote it. And it'll automatically come to you. And then what happens is people reply to that every day. And you know what that reply does? It comes to my BlackBerry. And then I reply back to their reply. And it blows their frickin' mind that I'm there. And I say, thank you. And it's me. Because you know why? Nobody does it. No businesses do it, barely. They don't do. Why this is so awesome is because nobody else does it, right? The bar is set so low for email marketing, for customer service. It's set so low to be great, you just have to be mediocre. Because everybody else sucks. Put that on a motivational poster with an eagle flying into a mountain on your wall or something, right? Let's inspire to be okay. Let's just try to be so-so, right? That's what we're talking about. So we can do these things. And when somebody signs up for your stuff, or somebody buys a product, angels should fly out of their frickin' computer at them. They just chose to spend money with you. Instead of walking in like I walked into that mall and everybody couldn't care less I was there. When I buy something from your site, when I sign up for something from your site, how am I treated? As a number or as a high five? You have a chance to start that relationship great or mediocre. Your call, how you do it. And we can do it digitally. We can do it well. Half the responses I get to my email question is, I know this is automated, but thank you for even asking. And I write back, you're welcome. In like 3 minutes, they're like, oh, you replied. And we start talking. It's amazing how these things can work that way. And here's a final example I want to show you guys. Before I get to it, again, I'll just do this. We have these little windows of opportunity that happen, okay? These little things come up. We decide whether to make them good or bad. This happens, and we experience them all over the place. You probably can experience them today. It can be with people who are serving food. It can be somebody, it can be a cab, whatever that is. It's our day-to-day interactions that can define awesome. A lot of the examples we use in the book of awesome are small things that become awesome. They're not these epic, huge, 8-week endeavors. They're 1 minute. They're one interaction. That's the difference. And you can choose to go both ways. And we never know who we're dealing with. We never know who we're talking to. As an example of, I was in New York. I call it the third circle of hell airports, LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. I love New York, and I can't stand the airports. And I get in the line for Delta, and I'm lined up at security. You know the line at security. And I'm there like an hour early because I'm a keener and I have no life. And I'm there, and all the people who are late for flights, you've seen this? When they're late for flights, they let them on first through security, and I'm just like, I was early, okay. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait. 40 minutes later, I'm finally to the front, and I'm putting my bin into the security, right? I'm disrobing, getting naked for security, putting my bin in, and just then, the parade of 9 flight attendants show up. You ever had flight attendants show up at security the same time you're there? Right, or pilots, right? They're allowed to push through, because they're, I don't know, they work for the airline. So they're trying to push through, and they do this Cirque du Soleil move with buckets of luggage, and they spin in the air, and they push the luggage through the security machine in front of me. My arm is in the machine almost, okay? And they're pushing through, and I'm looking at them, and I understand they're in a hurry, but understand this, okay? The first rule of Flight Club, okay? The plane will leave without me, not without you. If you fly the plane, it's not going anywhere. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to go through this, and nobody says, excuse me. Nobody. And by the 7th person literally pushing me through, I just look at them and say, come on, right? I'm usually a calm guy. I'm like, come on. And the next woman pushes and goes again. And I said, nobody said, excuse me. And as soon as I start to say that, she just goes, excuse me, and pushes. And I'm like, I heard nobody say, excuse me. And she looks at me and goes, I said, excuse me. I'm like, I didn't hear anybody. And she looks at me and goes, well, then open your ears. I look at her. Do you know who I think I am? did you say to me? She's like, open your ears, open. She just kept it open. I did say, excuse me, and she just rushes through with Delta on her name tag the whole time. So what do? I'm angry and I'm a geek. What do? I tweet, right? I get through security. I'm like, I'm so angry I can barely speak. I'm like, oh. I tweet, thanks to the Delta flight attendant who told me to open my ears as she body checked me through security. Send. Yeah. And now I want the world, right? I want to own my own plane now. I want to be the president of Delta, and I want a foot rub on the next flight. And in 3 minutes, Delta Assist writes me back on Twitter and says, oh, wow, we are so sorry that happened. Sometimes people have a bad day, and that is no excuse for how you were treated. We don't want to treat anybody like that. Our apologies. Thank you. But I am no longer angry. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't react any other way, right? They solved it because they were fast, they were quick, they were in real time. Apologies should not take hours. Okay, Twitter's a great venting platform. It should be within minutes to be able to do that, especially if we're a big brand. And here's the thing. In my original tweet, I misspelled Delta. I said Detla because I was so furious, I was shaking, right? I could imagine if it was an iPhone, my fingers slipping all around the keys, what would have happened? It was a bleh. But they actually have a search for misspelling of Delta. And in real time, they caught it and apologized and diffused the situation. And I got on the flight and I was happy. Like that. What is your ROI of Twitter? I don't know, a jerk like me is not angry anymore. That's what your ROI is. And that's the difference, because we have good and bad experiences that we can do in real time. Here's an example. This guy orders a pizza, just teasing. This guy orders a pizza. You want to read it, don't you? So, you ever ordered food online? You ever ordered food from anybody, pizza or groceries or Chinese food or whatever? In the bottom, there's a form. Usually it says any other comments or suggestions, right? Or instructions, right? I never know what to put there. Like, I like magic. I never know what to tell people in that form, right? So this guy orders pizza from Austin's Pizza. This whole thing won the Hall of Fame award in the book. And he orders a pizza. In the bottom, he puts in the form, please draw a unicorn fighting a bear on the pizza box. That was his other suggestion or request. He's drunk, he's something, I don't know, right? So the assistant call center manager gets this email, and instead of just throwing it away or deleting it or thinking the guy's an idiot, he thinks this is his window of awesome, his opportunity to be awesome. And he writes, and I quote, John, my name is Chad from Austin Pizza's call center. We received your online order earlier this evening. We saw your note, please draw a unicorn fighting a bear on the box. Unfortunately, our stores are not equipped to fulfill such a request. They simply did not possess the required skill. I, however, took it upon myself to draw out the picture you requested on a Post-it note. I hope this suits your needs. What? I don't know where to go from here. What do you do? 5.5 million views of this photo. What's the PR value on that? I don't know. But you know what he did? He spread it. He shared it. And we shared it. And you know why we shared it? Because it's awesome. That's why we shared it. We have these little windows every single day, my fine Canadian friends. We have these windows every single day that pop up, and you can choose to let the window close or jump through it. Either way, I just hope you'll be awesome too. Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I appreciate it.